Hello, and welcome to Panther Sports Zone. I'm Josh Crawford.
And I'm Worthington Moore.
The PV Men's Basketball Club continues their hot start to the season with a recent win over North American University. MMJ Janarius House has more on our story. Janarius?
Thanks, Josh. Against the Stallions, it looked like the Panthers was going to suffer their first loss of the season, but somehow, some way, the team managed to get the dub.
Oh, the next story. Tennis. On the women's, thank you, Janarius, for your wonderful story, by the way. On the women's side of the tennis team, it was tough sledding through the day against Stephen F. Austin. But fourth play was stopped in the women's doubles. The team of Mahogany Green and Victoria Castillo paced the Lady Jacks 3-4 in the number one double spot before play was halted. After SFA secured the doubles point, they won the number 2, number 5, number 6 spot to take the 4-0 win. The tennis team plays Gremlin State tomorrow at Friday. Plays Alabama State Friday, March 11th.
And I would like to say a congratulations to the PV men's basketball head coach, Byron Smith, on reaching 100 career wins. Since becoming the head coach for the Panthers in 2016, Prairie View holds a 78-34 record in the conference, with 3 Swac regular season titles, 1 Swac tournament championship, and 1 NCAA appearance. So, with all that Coach Smith has been able to accomplish here at Prairie View, what do you think about this milestone that he's been able to achieve?
I think it's very impressive. You know, I had the interview with him after that tough loss versus CNI versus Jackson. But Coach Smith, he reinforced to me that he is a winner. He's a guy that, like we just mentioned, he's been to multiple NCAA tournaments, 3 straight SWAC regular season championships. This is a guy that has proved that not only this place but other programs, he knows how to win. He knows how to win at a high level, and he knows how to produce the results that players, alums, and programs are looking for. So I think it's a big milestone for him. He got to 100 games rather quickly. That's about 20 wins a season. And he's a guy that, you know, like he said in our interview, you know, they're going through some lulls right now. They're not playing their best basketball at this time. But he's one of the main reasons why we have so much trust in the fact that this team can make the NCAA tournament and win that, get that automatic bid out of the SWAC. What do you think, Worthington?
Yeah, I kind of want to piggyback on what you said, which was winning culture, and kind of just excluding, you know, this season, this year. This team, like I said, you know, if you kind of like take away that 8-9 record that they have, you know, simple math, they are 70 and you know, 25, and that's kind of just how dominant that they've been, like going back to that winning culture. So a lot of coaches, you know, they can kind of like come in, you know, can kind of come out if they have a bad season or a bad record or anything like that. But he's been here, you know, since 2016 now, probably I'd say into his 7th, maybe 8th season. And so I think that, you know, just excluding this one, you know, kind of tumultuous year, it just speaks to the amount that he's been able to do with this basketball team that we have. So I think it's very great, and we best him the best of luck going forward. And you know, hopefully with tomorrow's game, they can get the win and you know, chip in for that SWAC tournament.
Big rivalry game tomorrow, obviously. And, you know, he mentioned to me on a multitude of occasions that, you know, obviously the goal is to, you know, sweep TSU throughout the year. They're not going to be able to do that this year. But he did mention to me that he did want to come for an in-studio interview after he got he told me after he secured the win, which with a finality. So, you know, Jawan Daniels is playing good. Again, just this team has been unable to win close games over and over again. So hopefully we hopefully can turn it a blowout against Texas Southern. It won't be a close game.
Yep.
When we come back, we hear some news from around the SWAC. Don't go anywhere after this break. Welcome back to Panther Sports Zone. Josh Crawford here with my co-host Worthington Moore. We want to apologize for the earlier technical difficulties that we had. So I think my man Janarius is going to be able to present his MMJ about the club basketball team. Janarius, plug us in for the second time today, brother.
Hey, thanks, Josh. So, against the Stallions, it looked like the Panthers were going to suffer their first loss of the season. Somehow, some way, they ended up taking the dub.
And the men's basketball club defeated the NAU Stallions 54-40. And although the win was never in doubt, the home team made sure to start off with a bang.
I honestly say, like, the mindset was literally, hey, we finna come out cooking. So with all that happened, and then, they came back and all that, et cetera. But we came out with the mentality of, hey, we finna come out and torch. It's nothing else. We finna torch straight up.
Another game, another win. But a 4-0 record is just the beginning for what this team hopes to achieve this year.
To the season, really, we just trying to run out our league. We're trying to get to the playoffs, get a good seeding, win out regionals, and go to nationals, So we just got to stay locked in. We just trying to, get to Florida, so yeah.
And despite only being able to practice just a few days out of the week, a tight-knit bond holds this band of brothers.
I enjoy my team. Like, we good. We work together. We got chemistry. So it's like, it's showing on the scoreboard. So, I mean, we may practice like twice a week, but at the end of the day, when it's time to go, we going.
For Panther Sports Zone, I'm Janarius House.
Thank you for that wonderful MJ Janarius. Shout out to my personal friend Rondo, the party promoter for, hooping for the PV Elite. Got something to tell us, Worthington?
Just that, 4-0, undefeated, along with the women's basketball intramural club. Very difficult thing to do, and I think he said a lot of things, which is that they are basically going to, look to keep on that hot streak, and that they're looking to go forward, to nationals in Florida. It's lovely place. I'm sure that they're going to have a wonderful time. Maybe
they got nationals for club basketball? They got nationals for club basketball, Janarius? I gotta get on that. They don't know my jumper is stupid wet. Anyways, Bowie State defensive coordinator Antoine Sewell was recently hired by Alabama State football, where he was serving a similar capacity as he did with BSU. A former player for the Bulldogs, Sewell helped Bowie State to their best season in school history, finishing 12-2, becoming the first team to win 3 straight CIAA championships since Hampton from 1992 to 1994. Their defense was a huge catalyst in this success, allowing just 14.7 points per game, ranking 11th in the country. In conference play, including the conference championship game, Bowie allowed just 10.1 points, with just one team putting up a double-digit points against them. Sewell will be returning to the Swac after previously coaching for Prairie View A&M for over 5 seasons as a DB's coach under former head coach Henry Frazier III.
This week, Swac baseball honors go to Grant Rowell of Florida A&M and Breon Polar from Alabama State. Rowell was a hitting machine during the Rattlers weekend series sweep over Grambling State, as he had a batting average of .636 while going 7 for 11 with 4 RBIs. He also had the highest on-base percentage of .692. Rowell also added 4 runs for the Rattlers over the course of the games played during this past week of competition. The pitcher of the week went to Pooler, who picked up his second win in as many starts this season, going 8 innings in a 13-0 victory over UT Martin in the first game of a doubleheader on Saturday. The graduate student allowed just 2 hits and struck out 10 while walking only 1 batter in the win.
Thank you, Worthington. No need on my guy Poole to beat up on the hometown UT Martin team. With a 52-69 win over Mississippi Valley State on Thursday night, Alcorn State ensures itself a piece of the 2022 Swac regular season title. The Braves can clinch the league title outright with the home win on Saturday versus Arkansas Pine Bluff. The last time the Braves claimed the regular season title was during the 2001 to 2002 season. On the flip side of things, Texas Southern can still claim a share of the regular season title, but the Tigers will need some help in order to do so. And Alcorn State lost to UAPB, paired with a home win over Prairie View, will give the Tigers a share of the regular season title, as both teams conclude this season with a similar 13-5 records in conference play. Additionally, a Texas Southern loss will secure the outright regular season crown for Alcorn State. Saturday's games will also help decide seeding in the upcoming Swac tournament. 10 of the league's 12 teams currently remain in contention for the tournament berth heading into the final day of the regular season competition.
In participation with Swac esports, 2K and Madden tournaments have already begun at many of the schools around the Swac, with Alabama A&M, Alcorn State, Mississippi Valley State, just to name a few that are already have begun these tournaments. So I wanted to ask you this, which is basically we've seen a lot of rise of esports kind of like happening across the country. And how do you feel about it now that it's rising, with Swac?
It's just another thing about, burgeoning recognition for HBCUs and, minorities in general. Every, athlete or, avid gamer, fancies themselves a professional anyways by the time commitment that you put into, gaming if you do it at a pretty serious level. I consider myself, an avid gamer, just the sports games, 2K, Madden. And it gets competitive, especially when you're playing against athletes, so you know how competitive it can be. So it's a unique lane. It's something that I don't think would have existed, 5 to 7 years ago.
Oh no, not even.
Definitely not. But it's good. It's like I said, it's not something that is an obvious program to start. It's not a thing that you see an obvious need or something that was just a very obvious idea. But it's very inspirational, and it gives guys that you consider, non-traditional people, just not athletes or not just people that, are physical specimens, get their hands on some real cash. Because, the one I seen on Madden, Madden 22, you can play for up to $250,000.
Yes.
So that's
those Madden and 2K tournaments, you can earn a lot of buku bucks, if you want to say.
That's life-changing money. I know that you got to get to a certain level to obtain that. Obviously got to, like I said, it's a time commitment if you really want to get good at video games. But like I said, there's nothing that you or I can do to earn $250,000 that quick. So if you can do it by cheesing on the video game, more power to you, man.
Pretty much. Coming up next after the break, we'll hear from one of the players from PV Men's Tennis, Jaden Boone. Stay tuned after the break.
Damn, Bob, you got the clarification to be a little bit more.
And welcome back to Panther Sports Zone. Joining us today, we have sophomore Jaden Boone for PV Men's Tennis. Jaden, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I am doing great. So I just kind of wanted to start off by asking, when did you start, picking up a tennis racket?
Well, it all started in high school. I was going to basketball and tennis, and I was good at both, and I had to choose. My freshman year in high school, one of my tennis coaches, he said, if you go back to basketball, you can't come back to tennis. So basically I had to choose what I like to do. So I chose was tennis and stuck with it, and I'm here.
Let me ask you something, Jaden. You know, obviously, like we talked about right before we started recording, you're from Dallas. You know, that's probably it's a football state, but you know, basketball is a close runner-up. So, what drove you to make the decision to choose tennis over basketball?
Well, see, my family is deeply into basketball, and so I was playing it. My mom seen my heart wasn't in it, so she told me to find something else. And one summer, I just picked up a racket, and it was like, this is it. So I stuck with it.
Man, the first and only time I picked up a racket is a Wii remote, and it had like one of those. I know it doesn't count as real tennis, but I will have you know, I made it all the way to the highest level, and I became a pro level tennis player. You can't beat me. You might be able to beat me in real tennis, but you cannot beat me in Wii
People
tennis.
just say I cause a racket. That's the only racket I get. That's the only thing I get.
Oh man, but Jaden, you're a sophomore, correct?
Yes.
All right, so I wanted to ask, like, seeing it as how you haven't, you know, been an upperclassman yet, but you have, you know, upper-level guys who kind of, like, are there. Is there any sort of advice that you can kind of give to us that, not give to us, but any sort of advice that they've given to you?
Yes. One of the star players on the team, Jorge, told me that he just wants me, like, you just go out there and play tennis. Like, a lot of times I just think of it as me, like, I have to win, I have to do this, I have to do that. But in the tennis world nowadays, the greats just go out there and play. It's like another day, another tournament, another match. And so that's what I try to do every day. When we have a match, go out there and play tennis and represent PV.
Nice.
So you talk about, you know, that mindset. You talk about, you know, having a change from, you know, I have to do this, I have to do that, versus, like you said, just going out there and kind of, you know, let it naturally flow. Tennis is, you know, by nature it's a one-man sport, a very singular, you know, impactful game. So, but there is a version of the sport, you know, obviously doubles, where you have to coordinate and teamwork with somebody else. So you're more of a singles guy or you're more of a doubles guy? Don't get in trouble, bro. Don't get in trouble. It wasn't a setup. It was just a simple. My producer wrote the question down. I felt obligated to ask.
I'll say I like doubles. I say I can like doubles.
Why is that?
Cause I can hit the opponent with the tennis ball.
You can hit the opponent.
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah, you can hit him with the tennis ball.
You can't do that in singles?
It's harder too. It's hard.
So we see what his game plan is out there for the Swac. Just I'm gonna hit you with the ball. That's crazy.
So you're not trying to like hit the ball like not like in the general direction so that the opponent. You're trying to hit like their bodies. I mean, I can't critique that strategy. I'm just I didn't know that the sport could get
violent
so personal.
like that.
Yeah, it's so personal, so violent.
When it comes to conference, that's exactly how it is.
So are people trying to hit you with the ball too?
Plenty of times. It's
Oh dang.
Man,
every man for themselves when you're out there playing doubles.
that's crazy. I didn't. So singles is not. I mean, you said it's a little harder. Why is it the dynamic different?
Singles is a lot harder because you have the whole court. So in doubles,
Okay.
you have two people standing at the net. So
That makes sense. I
Yeah.
never knew, like I never knew that tennis could get so violent. I gotta go to some more tennis matches, though. I haven't seen nobody get hit with a tennis ball. But if I go see Jaden or PV Panthers, hopefully you can make that happen for me. Can you do
Yeah.
that for me?
yeah, I got you.
And in that answer, you mentioned that it can, kind of get that personal, that level of violent, at conference. So kind of like going into that, where would you rank, the men's tennis team amongst all the teams that are in the Swac?
Amongst all the teams in the Swac, I would say we can be top three.
Top three.
We can be top three.
Top three. So is there like any sort of position that you would, rank the top three if you would have to say like, Purview's number one, Alabama A&M, or like Florida A&M, or like what are those top three teams?
I'm going to set my pride for the side for now. I want to say PV is at top.
All right.
But
Good answer.
truthfully right now, I have to say Alabama State is at one. Then Alabama A&M is right behind them. Then we're after them.
Hey, but plenty of season left, I think, correct?
Yes.
Plenty of season left. Anything can happen. So it really just all comes down to that SWAC tournament. So we're going to find out.
Alabama of hub of SEC football and Swac tennis. Didn't expect to hear that today. Obviously, you told us how much of a bully you are on the tennis court. I see why Coach Williams recruited you. But we talked about a little bit off camera about your recruitment. We just talked about what drove you to tennis. Tell me a little bit about how your recruiting and how you got to PV. How influential was Coach Williams in your recruitment, and what was the ultimate deciding factor in you coming to play tennis at PV?
It's a very funny story how I was recruited. It was back in high school, and I had to show up for a practice with my brother. I was not going to arrive. I didn't feel like practicing that day. So let me just go to practice because we just hit something. And one of the PV alumni was up there at the tennis courts while we were practicing. He came to me and was like, "Oh, you're pretty good at tennis. What do you think about going to school?" Well, my top 2 was PV and Lamar at the time, and I was like, I tried contacting the PV coach, but I still haven't received anything, so I don't know what I'm going to do. And he was like, I know Coach Williams. I was like, what? I was like, you know Coach Williams? She was like, yeah, I went to PV. I played tennis. I'm like, nah, man. Nah, you ain't playing no tennis at PV, man. And so then he had told me he'll help me with the coach, reaching out to the coach, and I got in touch with the coach, and he.
So you had an offer from Lamar too?
Yeah.
Dang, okay. So it was Lamar and PV. So you said PV was your first choice?
Yes.
Okay, I got you.
That's a good choice. That's a very good choice.
Let me jump you real quick. I'll let you get back to it.
All right.
So what high school did you go to in Dallas?
Duncanville High School.
You went to Duncanville High School. One of my better friends, Trayson Conlon, went to Duncanville. You know Trayson?
Probably heard of him, yeah.
Duncanville, the football factory. One of the better teams, not only Texas, but in the country, consistently basketball and football. What was it like being a black dude playing tennis where all the other black guys play basketball and football?
Man, it was something else.
I bet.
Something else. You play tennis? I'm like, yeah, you're black. Like, trying to be the first, man.
Yep.
We need a male Serena.
Yeah.
Take it away, Worthington.
All right. Good question, by the way. So I just wanted to ask you, like, whenever you did, after the whole kind of, interesting story that you gave about, the recruitment, that process that led you to being here, have you had, like, any difficulty, not in just adjusting to your life, as a college student, but as a collegiate student athlete?
Yes, freshman year it was very hard trying to balance the athlete and the student workload.
I hear that.
It was killing me freshman year because I'm like, I still have practice. And I just been up all night at the library doing all this work. It's hard, but you put in what you want out of it, so.
Yeah, kind of just a quick follow-up question. So would you say that, now as compared to last year, freshman year, would you say that you've adjusted to it?
Yes, I think I adjusted very well.
Yeah.
I understand.
Right to that.
Let me ask you something, Jaden. Me and Worthington are both athletes. I think Worthington is what I would consider a quote-unquote non-traditional athlete as well. So, we have a good relationship. So I learned a little bit about outside of the main traditional sports. But give me your perspective. What does a typical week look for Jaden Boone in terms of practice schedule, match schedule, whatever other things you got to do, balance schoolwork, like you said? Just break that down for me.
Okay, so Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays we have weight room at 10 in the morning. I have 8 a.m. classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I wake up and
Not the best combo.
go to the cafeteria, eat breakfast, head to weights, then practice, then architecture.
So he's actually smart, not just criminal justice smart.
Yeah, just from one non-traditional sport guy to the next, I wanted to ask you, are there any individual or team goals that you would like to accomplish within these next few years?
Yes, I am trying to make history for the school, to win the first NCAA tournament in tennis.
It's a high goal.
It is.
Yes.
How would you be able to get in that position? Is it like an automatic qualifier, conference tournament type of deal? How's it go?
Yeah, so if we win conference, we're already in the NCAA tournament, and we'll play one of the high-ranked teams in the states, in our region, so it's probably going to be UT or A&M. That'll be our first round. And we beat them, then we go on.
Win.
Yeah, we win.
I'm saying when we beat them.
Yeah,
You feel what I'm saying?
when we beat them.
There we go.
Yep.
We go on to the next and next. But by then we'll be televised and PV will be on the map. That's the goal.
I like the young brother spirit. What you think about him, Worthington?
Well, he said it will be televised, so I think the the revolution of more black people in tennis. I'm not going to go there. But yes, it will be televised. Just to wrap things up, if anyone is watching, someone that's from a potential high school recruit or this, that, and the other, what would you have to tell them about the culture behind your program?
I would say that we're a team that we're a team that likes to win. We like to do whatever it takes to win, and you have to be hungry. You have to want it. So.
Thank you so much for your time, Jaden. Your very interesting perspective. You seem, for a younger guy, say it like I'm so much older than you, but somebody just a little older than you. You seem very intentional. You seem like you got some good goals. So I'm excited, man. And like I said, I've never seen nobody get hit with no tennis ball at a tennis match. So if nothing else, you got my attention based off of that.
Yep.
So appreciate you appreciate your time. Wish you as well your pursuit of that NCAA tournament victory.
Yep.
And just know us here at PVMU TV, we'll all be rooting for you full force.
Yep.
Well, that's all for today's episode of Panther Sports Zone. Make sure to tune in every Monday, Wednesday, Friday to see us at 5:30 p.m. Once again, I'm Josh Crawford.
I'm Worthington Moore.
Signing out.